Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 3 of our DDR Prime study check-in. My name is Hillzie, LaMay, and I have Carmelina with me. Carmelina, can you introduce yourself to the group, please?
Yes, hello everybody. For those that do not know me, my name is Carmelina Gregorio. I reside in New Jersey and I am a mom to 4 children who all have different needs. And I am very excited to have joined Hillary in sharing some of my experience over here with all of you.
Thank you so much. I am going to share my screen and that way I can bring up our slides for today and we can see where we are with everything. So we have today is our, oh, there we go. Let's go all the way to the front first. There we go. So this is our week 3 check-in. So hopefully you have been staying consistent and staying disciplined with our study with using your DDR Prime roller blend 3 times a day or using your gel caps, whichever works better for you, and making sure that you are tracking your observations in your tracker or in a log or journal or whatever is working for you. So our agenda for tonight is we are just going to talk about our week 3 stats summary and the data. Thank you to Colleen for pulling that all together. And we're going to just talk about a few little notes for that. And then we're going to compare that to weeks 1, 2, along with this week as well. Then we're going to go over our wellness pipeline numbers, because as I mentioned in the first couple sessions, it's really important that we have concrete data that we can use to actually see how we are feeling and see what we are observing about our behavior. And it's nice to be able to have some concrete milestones in different areas to measure every single week. So you'll definitely want to grab a piece of paper and a pen and make sure that you have your numbers from last week, week 2, from the week before that, week 1, and then from our baseline week as well. And then Carmelina is going to share and pour out from her heart all about family and community support, because it's something that she has a lot of experience with. And when she offered to just edify and share with us, I was so grateful, because Carmelina, you are an absolute expert in this area. So I am so grateful for everything that you will be sharing with us. And then lastly, just a reminder that now we have our week 4 post that you can check in there all throughout the week. So here is our week 3 observation stats. Now, as you can see, there is definitely a decrease in comments and decrease in check-ins. And so it's really important that if you're using the blend still consistently and you're staying disciplined and you want to continue along in this study, that we have your check-ins at the end of the week. So even if you don't want to comment once a day, that's totally fine. Some people like that external accountability. Other people just want to share 1 day a week, and that's totally fine. But we really rely on your data to be able to share. But the great news is that this is really impactful information, that the majority, the #1 comment across the board that people were observing is that they were experiencing more deep sleep, feeling more rested and restored when they wake up, feeling more energy, feeling focused, and practicing more self-care. So that's a really important thing. And it's really important to remember also that there is no right or wrong. There is no success or failure. This is just a behavioral study. That's why this is just informal. I want to observe behavior. I want you to be open and willing to share behaviors. But you should not feel that if you're not experiencing something that other people are experiencing, then the oil is not working for you. An oil blend is just an additional way to support you in your wellness. And so I just want you to keep that in mind as we go along. So I'm going to share this slide in the group when we are done with tonight's wrap up. And then this slide just kind of summarizes our data from today and then our data from last week and the week before. So as you can see, that deep sleep and feeling rested and restored was the most commonly shared data, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if you're not feeling that way, then the blend isn't working for you, right? Because everyone's body is bio-individual. So that means that your body reacts and responds to oils differently. Just like for me, lavender does not make me feel calm or put me to sleep if I diffuse it. If I take it internally, it does calm me, but it does not relax me or calm me when I just diffuse it or breathe it. But a lot of people love lavender. Like I would say probably 80 or 90% of the population finds lavender super calming and relaxing. So I just want you to keep that in mind as you look at things and as you feel willing to share your check-ins each week and each day, that just because you're feeling something that's different than someone else is feeling, it has no bearing on the success or failure of your experience during this study. So I just want you to keep that in mind. So now we're going to talk about our wellness pipeline check-in for this week. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and actually that's a typo, that should say week 3, I want you to share in your journal or written down somewhere what your numbers are for each of these areas. And I want you to be able to see how you are changing. How are these staying the same? Are these getting better? Are these getting worse? And that's really important to be analyzing when you're observing how you feel, when you're observing and analyzing your sleep, your nutrition, your mood, your focus, all of these areas. So we're going to start with sleep, and I am participating every single week along with you as well. So on a scale of 1 to 10, let's rate our sleep. And that just means the quality of your sleep. Are you waking up feeling rested? That would be, more of a 9 or 10. If you're waking up in the middle of the night often, or your mind is racing and you're having a hard time getting down into a restful sleep, that would be more of a 2 or a 3. So on a scale of 1 to 10, please rate for me your sleep. And then the next is nutrition. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would like you to rate your nutrition. So this would be, are you making time to prepare healthy meals? Are you meal planning? Are you doing any grocery shopping? Maybe nice healthy options, lots of fruits and vegetables, things like that, lots of colorful options. Or are you finding that you're just feeling frazzled and reaching for whatever is convenient? On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your nutrition. And then the next one is your mood and emotional balance. So on a scale of 1 to 10, just your overall mood, are you finding that you're coming to your day with an even-keeled attitude, or are you waking up feeling grumpy or overwhelmed or sad or anxious or frustrated? Or are you just finding those things that come up throughout the rest of the day, maybe some things that were unexpected are added to your workload, or something that is unexpected in your day-to-day routine with the kids comes up and you fly off the handle and you lose it and you get angry? Or are you finding it pretty easy to just stay calm during times of obstacles? So on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your mood and emotional balance for this past week. The next is your productivity and your focus. So did you find it fairly simple to stay on task and complete your rule of 3 every day, putting together either before you go to bed or in the morning, the top 3 things that you absolutely have to get accomplished today? And are you finding it fairly simple to sit down, do some time blocking, accomplish those tasks? Or are you finding that it is very hard to do that because you're getting distracted, or you are not necessarily following some of those time blocking techniques that we talked about, and other things are getting in the way, and then you're finding you're frazzled by the end of the day trying to rush to get these things done? The next one is exercise. So on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your exercise. So did you make time in your calendar? Did you hold space for yourself to move your body 3 to 4 times a week? Were you finding that you were able to, just work up a sweat, take a walk with the family after dinner or before work, maybe do some yoga or exercising, maybe you go to the gym? Were you able to prioritize this week 3 to 4 times a week? Or were you finding that moving your body and exercise was just not on the radar this week? So share with us in your journal on a scale of 1 to 10 how your exercise was for this week. The next one is your digestion. So on a scale of 1 to 10, were you feeling, hello, you guys, hello, thanks for joining. Were you finding it comfortable to have healthy bowel movements all week? Or were you feeling abdominal cramping and tension and feeling maybe some acid reflux or pain or discomfort or bloating after you were eating meals? So share with us in your journal your digestion from this past week on a scale of 1 to 10. The next one is very linked to your digestion, which is your water intake. So on a scale of 1 to 10, were you finding it fairly simple to stay hydrated throughout the day? Were you adding your lime or your lemon or your wild orange or grapefruit to your water? As I take a sip of my drink. Or were you finding that you were feeling dehydrated? You were having to catch up with your water intake. You were forgetting to drink water. So on a scale of 1 to 10, share in your journal this week, how was your water intake? And then lastly is your self-care practices. So on a scale of 1 to 10, did you take time for yourself? Did you take time to read a book or have lunch with a friend, get a manicure, pedicure, or paint your nails at home? Were you finding it fairly simple to make that time in your day, whether it's before your family wakes up or after your family goes to bed, that you were able to carve aside some time just for yourself to do something fun that made you feel good, that made you feel balanced? Or were you finding that you were just feeling so frazzled and frustrated that you were being pulled in 1,000 directions and that there was no time for you to do anything for yourself? So share with us on a scale of 1 to 10. That you were just feeling so proud. And also just keep in mind, you want to be analyzing how are these changing from week to week. So from our pre-launch numbers and then our first week and our second week, last week. So what are you noticing about these numbers so far? Be thinking about that. And then I also wanted to take this opportunity because we have 1 week left this week, of course, and then a few more days before August is over. And I wanted to make sure that you don't sell yourself short during the study. So this is a behavioral study. This is not a study that if DDR prime does not, quote, work for you, it's not a success for you, that it's not supporting you. So I don't want you to feel pressure to have the same results that someone else might be sharing. So it is important that you are just observing and we're encouraging you to just share your observations so that we can track the trends. You aren't responsible for tracking those trends unless it is overt in your journal that you are seeing trends day after day after day. So we want you to focus less on what changes am I seeing and more about what behaviors am I observing in myself or in my child. And so along those lines, if you are feeling like because you are not seeing the things that other people in the group might be sharing, that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't continue with your 3 times a day discipline. And so if you tend to drop off of that, then that makes it harder for you to have any kind of observational changes because you are not staying consistent. So it's very important that if you want to be sharing your observations, that you are being consistent and disciplined with 3 times a day usage. And that way everyone is on the same even keel, and we're all so different. And like I mentioned earlier, that bio-individuality is so very special and so very important that this oil is not going to cure you and change your life necessarily the same way that it might for someone else. Just like lavender isn't going to change my life in the way it might relax me as it does someone else. But it's important that you stay open to allowing this blend to support you in different ways for different people. So by staying open and being focused on observing how you felt. So making observations about how did I feel this morning, period. How did I feel this afternoon, period. How did I feel tonight, period. And then over that week of you sharing those observations, when Colleen goes to aggregate them, if you have 10 comments that are saying you woke up feeling rested, you woke up feeling focused, you had more energy today, then that's a trend that we can observe. But it's not, don't feel that pressure, don't feel that obligation that if someone is having an experience and you're not, then that means that this oil is not working for you. So I just want you to share and be really focused on sharing what about your behavior of that particular time of day are you observing? How do you feel? Just to check in with you. How do I feel this morning? How do I feel today? How did I face my challenges? How did I face my workload today? And so on. So the keys are also just staying disciplined with that 3 times a day usage, staying just focused on the observations, but don't feel the need to draw any conclusions from them. And then also Colleen is going to be talking about this week when she goes live, which is called Extinction Burst phenomenon. So this is where a child or maybe our own self, we feel like we have to fight that old behavior and power through that. And so when you're in the school setting, this can show itself where either you as a parent or your child's educator has to stand their ground and hold those healthy boundaries and not let the child win, because then it affects the ability to stay consistent with whatever behaviors that you are trying to promote. So I just want you to keep that in mind as you're going through the final week and final days, about final 10 days or so of the study. And again, Colleen is going to go more into this in detail when she goes live this week. And so now I am going to turn it over to Carmelina, and she is going to talk to us and just really share from her heart about facilitating family and community support. So Carmelina, thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us. The floor is yours. So whatever your heart feels led to share, we are so open and grateful for you.
Thank you, Hillary. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and everything that you have done for this group. Really magnificent work. And hello to everybody. I can see that Robin and Beth are online. So hello, girls. And I just wanted to say that I am so grateful to be here with you guys and so lucky to really be able to share some of my experiences with what goes on with the special needs community. Um, I have 4 children, and they all have different needs. I have my first son with Down syndrome at the age of 20. At that age, I didn't even know what Down syndrome was. Ignorance was all over me. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know, and it was very hard. And that's when my reality and my best education, because I could say I am this, I am that, but most importantly, I am a mom who went to the really tough, prestigious university of life, being a human. And that's when my experiences really started happening. It's when you start realizing really how important family support and community support just changes your world and holds you. And okay, um, you're gonna come across, and please, the things that I share, please be aware or keep in mind that those are my own experiences and what I have come to being involved in the special needs community to hear from other parents. I prayed before I went online. I prayed for God to lead through me and channel through me the things that you needed to hear. I can already start feeling, sensing the emotions of what the community needs to hear. But if it doesn't resonate with you, please do not take it for granted as it should be. Um, it is very important that, above all, like Hillary has shared many times, self-care goes above everything. Because if you don't have your full cup of you, you cannot pour yourself onto others, including your children. You're going to be giving them less of you. And that had also come to me through life lessons. I acquired many diseases since I had my son, and it was because I was giving all of me to him, because I wanted to be the best mom that I could be for him and give him the best opportunities, but I was neglecting myself. And I have come through many health challenges that I have overcome through learning through the hard way that you come first in order. It's like my mother used to tell me, eat first before you feed him. And I'm like, wow, why would I do that? Like, what kind of mother is that? I need to feed him first, but it is you first, so you can be full you in all presence, give the best of you to them. You're going to come across family members and friends that do not completely understand the challenges that you go through in life. It is very easy to say, I have a special needs child, and feel the mercy of the pity of your friend or family or the community, but that goes up to a point. You're going to come to a point in life where you really need someone that truly understands what you are going through, what you really feel inside, the hurts that you feel as a parent inside, and the tears that you need to cry without being told, be strong, in order for you to heal wounds for having a child with special needs. All parents feel either responsible in a way of having or bringing a life with special needs to the world. And we judge ourselves as parents, and we feel bad on ourselves. And sometimes when we don't want to take that responsibility, we blame it onto God, why you gave me this, and all becomes into a love-hate relationship about having a child with special needs. It is okay and it is normal. It is okay to feel that way. And those are wounds that you need to heal in yourself, but only through the complete and right support. And sometimes it will be outside your family that you will find that support where you come to heal that part of yourself and truly learn to love yourself and your child. I'm going to talk a little bit more in a very short version, because I could go through many of this into many details, but I want to make this as short as possible. When I noticed that the Hillary put the study out, I had so many great ideas. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to be part of this. But Colleen, you have done such an amazing job, better than I would have, and I'm getting chills right now, better than I could have expressed myself into many of the subjects that you have already explained. So really thank you very much for pouring your time and really your education and your expertise in all the subjects that you have addressed.
Yes, Colleen, we are so indebted to you, and I mean, so grateful for you, because all those videos are now saved in the group. So if you once the study is done and you want to, unfollow the group or leave the group or whatever, you can download those videos and you can save them and you can download all those resources. So they're great. Yeah, I agree with you. Could not agree more.
So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to talk about? I can talk about this, and I was texting Hillary. I can talk about this. Michelle Colini's doing that too. Because I'm like, you know what? I was taking a shower. I remember I was going somewhere, and I'm like, I needed to talk about this. I did not prepare for this at all because in my heart, I'm like, you're gonna come to say exactly what you needed to say. Hillary texted me this morning and said, do you have any notes? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna talk from my heart. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about family support. Family support is very important. I'm on my second marriage. Two of my first children are from my previous marriage, and some of it came from lack of support, that disruption in family. And this is why I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And my other two children came from my current husband. And that's when I started feeling, well, I am the one to blame. They all have something, like they all come from me, but it is truly a blessing. Family support is very important, not only because you can feel very alone while you're blaming yourself, while you're not understanding the needs of your child and you're blaming the child at the moment through a behavior, you're feeling guilty and probably negative feelings towards your child. You need that spousal support. I am going to focus a little bit about the four houses, so your spouse and your older children. You both have to be on the same page. When the parents are not on the same page, the children are very quick, special needs or not, to pick up that they're not on the same page. So mommy will not do that. I'm going to go to daddy. Daddy will not give me that. I'm going to go to mommy. And that can turn into a battle of discussions between the two adults that can turn very ugly very quickly. Choose your battles with your spouse. Choose your battles with your child, and fight your battles in a place that your children do not see you. When you need to child battles with your spouse, fight them in a place that are not in front of your child, because again, they can quickly pick up on that, and they can quickly know what buttons to turn into get you to fight, and into bottom line, get what they want to get. They're very smart. Um, Speak to your spouse about the needs of self-care that you need. I am a person that need a lot of alone time, a lot, because I, like Helene, I'm an empath, and I can pick up everybody's energy in a bit. And if I don't download myself and digest everything that I feel, I can turn out into a monster very quickly. And that is not pretty for anybody. So my husband respects that I need to be alone. My husband respects that I need to either cry, and he doesn't ask me, well, why you're crying. He knows that I am crying tears that sometimes are not even mine, but I need to just cry them. When he sees that I pick up the car keys, he knows why, and then he holds down the fort. So you need to have a plan with your spouse into that. If he's the one that needs the time, whether it is through exercise, that he goes out with his friends, or through exercise, or watching a movie, or just sometimes laying on his bed alone, respect that time for him, because we also tend to see or feel that mothers need more time, but parents or fathers or as well need to digest all the emotions that they're picking up from their wives and from the children themselves, and from the whole dynamic of feeling responsible of I am the breadwinner, or the male of the family, the rock of the family. They have a lot of burden to also digest. So respect that time for him. So create a plan that if you know that he's telling you at 9 o'clock, I'm going to exercise, and you know that he already went, it is because of something. Don't make him feel guilty about that. Let him digest the way that he likes to digest those emotions. Don't be the wife that, you're going out with your friends every time. But if it is for healthy purposes, for healthy issues, he may find that he can cry those tears with them, or just talk with them in a way that he's not hurting you. So be open to that as well. When my husband sees that I am getting very overwhelmed about either the children or something else, he's the one telling me, go for a mani, go for a petty. He knows what I need. He knows that it is time for me to disconnect and walk away from the situation and digest what I need to digest. So create a plan where the two of you are working in a puzzle of, this is the missing piece. Well, this is now what needs to come into place. When you have older children, and let's say the one with the special needs is the youngest one, teach your child from a very young age about the needs that the youngest sibling will have or will encounter, and give that child tools to also disconnect from the scenes of behavioral disruptions that are in a healthy way for them. So for example, my children they like music. So when she's very angry or when she's very overwhelmed, she likes to digest her emotions by playing the piano. So I know that when she's locked in her room by playing the piano, I am not going to be calling up on her to come and do chores or come and do some, because I respect that now that's her plan of soothing technique of what needs to be. At the same time, teach them on how to address the situation with the children, with the youngest children, that if that person, the child is having a tantrum or something like that, mommy and daddy are not around, what do they need to do now? Instead of engaging into a fight or a pull here and there, what do they need to do in order to either soothe the child, give the child what he needs? Well, mommy and daddy has taught me this. So from a very young age, I have taught my children, and my first one was with Down syndrome, and he's also taught what to do when the other ones are acting up, or what to do in certain situations. So that goes again with the limiting belief that I wanted to talk. Don't think that because your child has special needs, they're not capable of understanding instruction or being the whole dynamic of the family plan. So that's about the emotion sides of it. Give them tools. Like I give my kids crystals, breathing, meditation, coloring, arts and crafts. They do earn iPad time. I'm sorry, my kids do have iPads, and they do earn their own time limits. Despite one that wants to abuse it all the time, but that also has to be earned. But they each have their own way of soothing themselves, of dealing with themselves, and just create a plan. Another a family support within the household is also creating a schedule, or creating I'm a person that you go into my kitchen, you're going to see papers all over the place, and I don't care. But there's one that has to do all with chores, and the little ones will have chores for this. Well, you did so many chores, you can earn a toy at the end of the week. For the older ones, the one allowance, well, if chore costs money, and these chores, you want your allowance, you have to earn it. And those chores are the ones that you have to earn. So when you go to daddy, because mommy's not giving you your $5, well, daddy will go now to the place. Well, do you do your chores? Well, did you earn it? Well, no. Well, that's also a family support plan, because it minimizes the fighting. It minimizes the misunderstanding into the children of why I'm not getting what I want. And it minimizes the spousal discussion of, well, the kid, this and that. Well, no, we all have a plan, and we all have to stick to it. I have my teachers at school, telling me how great of a system I have, because my son with Down syndrome, again, he knows his chores, and he knows that if he wants his money and his allowance, he has to take the garbage out, he has to collect the mail, he has to sort the mail, he has to give everybody their mail, and cardboards on such days, and the grass on the other days, and the plastic on the other. And he knows that. And I wrote it down for him. I even put a little picture next to, so he can have his visual. And he knows that every day making the bed, 50 cents, collecting the garbage, this and that. And there's no discussion. So that's support overall for the children and the spouse. When it comes to family outside your four walls, I always, as a courtesy, explain to them what we expect from our children, what their needs are, and anything else that comes goes in one ear and out the other ear. Because sometimes family are not the village that would understand what you need. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And sometimes they have different routines in their house on how they work. Their lifestyles doesn't mean that it will function with yours. And you already have a plan for yours that works for you. You can take it if it resonates with you, or you can ditch it if it doesn't. DDR has also made me a little bit more spoken with saying no. So while they are showing up trophies and diplomas of what all their children are doing, it is very hard for them to come down to your level and understand that your needs are a little bit different than that. And that comes into integrating the village support. Please, please, please. If everything that I have jibber jabber so far doesn't interest you, please pay attention to this. Involve yourself in a PTO that has to do with special needs in your town. Plain and simple, bottom line. And I'm getting chills to that, so somebody else needs to hear this, and they're either watching the replay, they need to hear it. Involve yourself in a PTO. When my son was first born, and he was going, again, I didn't know what Down syndrome, early intervention came, like Colleen explains to you, from 1 to 3 years, early intervention, you're guided. Your hand is being held into step-by-step what you need to do. Once that child goes into elementary school, early intervention goes away. Those little toys that are brought to your house to play with your child, they're gone away. Now you have a case manager, and now you have to start learning by yourself, um, what to do. But sometimes case managers by law cannot hold your hand. By law, they cannot tell you what to ask for. So look for the services that your town offers. Like SPAN is a great service for whenever you're not needing or they're not meeting your needs. SPAN is a great support. I don't know if that's nationwide or if it's just in New Jersey.
Is it an acronym? What does it stand for?
uh, Special Needs Advocacy Network.
Okay.
SPAN.
Maybe you could
Um,
share that, like a link to that in the group for the resources we can
So,
kind of.
right. So if someone needs an advocate to go to school with them, that's someone that they can go. If your child goes to a developmental doctor, they will tell you and they will hook you up they will connect you with SPAN for 504, for IEP's helps that you need. But once your child is in elementary school, now you're either talking about your child being in the least restricted environment that sometimes has to be seclusion still and the special needs classroom, or sometimes it could be that they will take them for the extra activities like arts and gyms into the mainstream. So those are things that early intervention doesn't tell you that you need to start getting educated, but 3 years passes by really fast. And I advise you that you need to start looking for the resources and the education that you need. So when your child is in elementary school, once they go into middle school, forget about it. Now they're taking 504s away from you if you don't know how to advocate for your child. Now they're limiting your IEPs. And if your child, like my third child who has high functioning autism, he's mainstream. He's now moving on to fourth grade, and he's mainstream. He has an IEP. However, all the extras like speech and OT and all the other stuff has been already taken away because he doesn't qualify. So those are things that if you know that you still need, you can fight for. And Colleen went into that, and I'm going to go into that. What I'm talking about is the village. Involving yourself in a special needs PTO will give you the resources and meeting the right people that you need to meet in order not only to provide that support and outlet that you need as a woman or as a father if you're involved, but also into the education and the resources that are there for the school for you. The special needs community, it's kind of like, I always refer to it as the movie Dirty Dancing, don't put baby in the corner. That's exactly what they do. They put special needs in the corner. And it's like a little club that is very secret that nobody likes to know about. Nobody likes to say my kid is part of that club because I'm going to be judged. In my town, I am proud to say we're ending that stigma. And it has taken years for that to happen. When I first moved into this town, I was completely lost. My son was going into middle school. My daughter, I already knew that there was something the mainstream teachers weren't picking up. So she didn't have any services at all. I had a parent inviting me to come to the special needs PTO. That was my mentality. I was like, I don't want to go there. Why would I go there? I was alone. I didn't know anybody. All the support that I had was my spousal support and my children. So she insisted that I go and that I go. I'm like, fine, I am going. I went and I came out even more depressed. There was no parent there. The only ones there were officers. Voting that night, I remember, and my heart just shattered. And I was like, where are all the special needs parents? The town that I live in is known as one of the best special needs in the country, which is why I am here. I'm like, where's everybody? They insisted, those officers insisted that I keep on going, that I keep on going. I'm like, why? Like, there was nobody there. The cookies on the table. Is that the life that I am gonna live for the rest of my life for my children? I thank God for the day that those ladies kept on insisting that I went there, and that I said, fine, I'll give it another try. And for the day that I said, yes, I am going to be one of the board officers, and that the term for that president was finishing, and those officers needed is every 2 years. Nobody else wanted to volunteer, and then a new committee came because we changed the world in our town. It takes a village of moms that are sick and tired of putting special needs in the corner. And you can be that mom. You can be that mom. There are so many parents that do not know of the services that the town provides because there's no information out there, because everybody is hiding in a corner, embarrassed to say, I have an ADHD child, because they look perfect on the outside. They don't have a special needs that people can pick on. They look perfect on the outside. They just have behavioral issues. They can just say, oh, yeah, he's hyper today. Oh, yeah. And they keep it in a secret because they're embarrassed to share, or they don't want to be judged, or they don't want their kids to lose that play date, or they don't want the kids to start rejecting them or pointing fingers at them. You need to get past that, because you're not doing a service to your child by keeping him in the corner because of all those limiting beliefs, and not getting him the services and the true friendship that they need. Um, Through that special needs PTO, when I joined as an officer, I said, I don't have much time between this and that and having 4 children. I'll do membership share, and I will do the website. Oh, but we don't even have a website. And that's when my bill started going. Okay, we need to restructure this whole thing. Like, we need to make special needs cool. And that's exactly what we did. We had a school in the town that was where all the real extreme behaviors needed to be at. We said, we're not ashamed. We're not ashamed. We put posters in every single school in the town of what our PTO name was, what we do, the parent support group that we have, that we meet every Wednesday for an hour to talk about anything of all the topics that Colleen has talked about. We meet there for an hour. These are services that are for free, that we advocate for you, that we do this, that we do that. We started making t-shirts for the school. We created a whole sign for the school, so every car that passes by know that that's the school for special needs. We started going at every back to school night of every town, of every school in the town, to speak about our PTO. And we know, and one of the things, because I spoke, and one of the things I said, I know that many parents are here, Main Street with children with 504s and IEP. We're here for you. Don't be ashamed. We're here for you. My son is in one of those classes. We're here for you. We support SE. We have the best fundraisers. We're not ashamed. And now, because of that, the entire town has voted to be stigma-free. And now the entire town is putting posters of special needs and making the streets to be special needs accessible for wheelchair. They're making the corners where they put up these pillars to be more safety for the child. And now they call the town to be stigma-free, the entire town. And took a little group of mothers sick and tired of putting baby in the corner. But it starts with your home. It starts with you telling your children, this is what your siblings have. This is the support that we have. This is what we do. Then it starts with going into the community. Those ladies have become my best friends. Not only that, their children are now my children's best friend. One of them tells me, I only have 2 friends, mommy. And I say, and those are the best ones. They're there for you, whether you're high or whether you're low. And they're there for you without judgment. One tells me I have 500 followers on Instagram. I'm like, and how many out of those 500 are truly your friends? It comes with really connecting people that are like-minded. Those moms, we call each other, we cry each other. We know exactly up to the deep hole that we can get ourselves in with our mentality as a special needs parent, and really understand the situation that we're in. That's why I said sometimes it will come from your family members, but sometimes your true family, it is outside your bloodline. And sometimes those becomes the true links of relationship, of resources. What I don't know, one of those moms know. What I don't know about services and advocating, one of those moms already who maybe have more difficult case than mine, because I have to say I'm very blessed with the cases that I have, she may know. And those are resources and friendships that are true for you. My son just had a birthday party this past Saturday. And as one of the parents was dropping off the child, he was saying, let's see when we can get them together. It broke my heart that my son was in the park saying to me, Mommy, I want to go and play. Daddy, I want to go and play with those girls, but I know that they will reject me. At the age of, how old is he now? He's about 7 years old. He's already picking up that those children notice his differences and are already judging him. So again, it starts with the house and empowering. Like I tell my kids, you have superpower. Oh my goodness, you pick up on that's your ADHD. That gives you that, detail oriented capability. You have superpowers, you have this and that. Yes, you don't want to put it in a way that they feel they will not need or they will not face challenges, because that will be lying to them. But you can empower them that the challenges that they will face, there are solutions for, and that they don't need to feel any less than any other child around them. And that if there's other children that do not want to play with them, there's another handful that is dying to have friends with. And those are other special needs children that are being put in the corner and are being judged, that can form beautiful bonds with them, that may have um, similarities of the likes that they like to play with. So please, 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 if you're not involved in a PTO, if your town doesn't have a PTO, start it yourself. Look for the rules and regulations. Gather a mom. Are you tired? Are you tired? Are you tired? That's all we need. 6 officers, that's all we need. And start making flyers to start going around the school. I've met the Board of Education. Everybody knows my kids. Everybody knows me. Every time I go to a school, they know who I am. They know who I represent. And there's no joking around. They start looking at you a lot different when they know that you are involved. The teachers are more willing to work with your child when they know that you are involved, that you're not the parent that comes to every IEP with just all the concerns and the results. But are you volunteering? Are you helping? Are you involved? Do you know this? You know that? No, 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 no. Well, then these are the resources that you have. This is my time for you. I've seen it, they spend more time with you when they know that your true interest is not only in supporting your child, but supporting the community. That you are involved with the community and you're supporting the community as a whole. So that's what I wanted to share today with all of you. Do not put your child in the corner. Work together with your spouse. Create a plan. Teach your children the tools that they need. My daughter, who's now in high school, she tells me she wants to be a special needs teacher, and that's what she wants to go for, and probably speech. And it is because seeing her older brother and now her third sibling, a second sibling, facing the challenges that they face, and that had inspired. And she's so connected to the special needs community from a very young age that she doesn't even see a difference. For them, they're any human being just like any other of her friends at high school. She doesn't see a difference. And it starts at home, but then bring it up to the community. In the community, you will find the support that you need. And do not forget about self-care. If you don't have anybody to cry, text me. I'll cry with you. Message me and I'll cry with you. But it is very important that you either journal, cry, drink tea, go for a mani, a pedi, a movie by yourself, but that you have time for you, spa, whatever it is that it is for you, that you truly enjoy. What I like may not be what Hillary like, may not be what you like, but what truly brings passion to that inner child in you, that you laugh like you were a child. Connect to that again and have that as your me time, as your mommy time. This is my time. And teach your kids to respect that. When I'm doing one of those things and my kids come, well, mom, I'm sorry, it is mommy time. And they need to learn that it's mommy time. And for me to be the best for you, I need to be the best for me first. But blessings to all. Any questions, any resources that I can share with you, please just message me. It's been a pleasure to share a little bit of my experience with all of you. Hillary, thank you very much. And really, 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 really connect with your community. It is so important and you will not regret it. If you're judging about your child, and I know that I'm going back, of being more advanced than another child, believe me, you're doing a service to that other child, which teaches your children empathy as well about people that are less than him. It is all about escalators. So don't judge others, because then in others you're judging your own child and yourself. Don't put limits on them. Merge them, teach your child. You know how empowering it will be that you know that you have a special needs child that could be actually a teacher for another child that is less than them. How empowering it is that, for how important he will feel or she will feel. So merge them. Don't be create play dates at the park.
Definitely.
Teachers, there's so many ideas, so many things that you can do. If you have any ideas on even how to start your own PTO in your town, that you don't have those resources, you don't know even where to find them, I can try to get information for you on even how to start that. There's a great on Pinterest. There is a great PTO for Special Needs page that you can follow that has amazing resources, PDFs, things that you can do for the house, of ABA and story times that you can do for them, but also on how to start your own PTO in your towns. They have amazing information in there. That's in Pinterest. So blessings to you all. And I hope anything that I have shared have inspired you into either changing your life in some way.
Thank you so much, Carmelina. Yeah, and if you have any resources, any links, or the link to the Pinterest page, the links to the span, anything that you want to share, please do so. You can share either in the comments below the Facebook replay. The Facebook Live replay will be up. So if anyone, for all of those watching the replay, feel free to ask questions for Carmelina. If this is something that you want to explore in your town, if you're not sure how to get connected with the PTO in your town for special needs, please reach out to her, connect with her on Facebook, and you guys can set up a time to talk, or you could just ask her questions in the comments as well. And then Carmelina will just share any links that she has that we can as well share with you. So Carmelina, again, thank you so much for your time tonight. And thank you for everyone that is watching and that has been consistent and sharing your observations each week. We are in the home stretch, and we will see you guys in next Sunday. And then Colleen will be back on this week to talk about some other great things to share with you and enrich you for the final week. So we hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Keep sharing and keep oiling up. And we hope that you have a great evening. Thank you all so much. Carmelina, thank you again.
Bye.